Still, so we are back. Still on the topic of BJT, um, transistors and their basics, DC analysis. We will recall that a transistor can be used into or operated or biased, can be biased into three modes, and it's very important to understand that. And the functions of a transistor in an electronic circuit can be summarized to two. So a transistor is either used as an amplifier, so for amplification, and that's where our focus is, or it could be used as a switch. And there are many applications of that, some of which we go back on to when we study regulators in the last section of the subject. But for now, we focus on the amplification function. So the three modes in which a transistor can be used define its two functions. Defines which one of the two functions it's performing. So now, a transistor and they are all dependent on the way it is DC biased. So the DC biasing define which mode we are in, and which mode we are in define which function we are performing, basically. So the three modes in which you can operate a transistor include one, which is the saturation mode. And in the saturation mode, the transistor is operated in saturation region. And you recall from electronics 1 that when we speak about saturation region, we are here referring to the characteristic curve of a transistor. Characteristic curve of the transistor that you all familiar with, which you studied in electronics 1. And when I say a saturation region, that's what I mean. So now, what does it mean being operated in saturation region, and how do we detect that a transistor is in saturation region or in saturation mode, and what function does it perform? So let's start with what it means for a transistor to be in a saturation mode. And before we go to the characteristics, so a transistor is operated in saturation mode when both its junctions are forward biased. When both of its junctions are forward biased. And here I'm referring to the EBJ junction as well as the CBJ junction. They are both forward biased. Then you know the transistor is in saturation region. So what does it mean for a PN junction or NP junction to be forward biased? That I guess you know, but I'll quickly revise that. So remember, in a transistor we sort of have two diodes. The one is goes from the base to the emitter, and I'll take here the case of NPN transistor, and the other one goes from the collector to the other one goes from the collector to the base. So that will be the CBJ junction. This will be the EBJ junction, right? So we've got the EBJ junction as well as the CBJ junction. Now, when a transistor is operated when a transistor is operated in saturation region, both junctions are forward biased. What that means is that I'll change that first of all. So we have because I need to apply my mind again here quickly. So we've got the emitter, the base, and the capacitor. Remember all the time the inside, and here it's a NPN transistor. So the collector side is N type, so that means it's the anode of the diode, if we think about it. The base is P, so that will be the cathode.